All right, everyone, we're going to give this a shot for the first time. This is the Social Circle podcast. This is our pilot episode, so we're going to get started with an intro. My name is Royal Lee. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Social Circle podcast. Every week, we're going to be sharing thoughts about, in our perspective, different ideas related to social media. But first, I'll get started with the quick intro, and we'll go around the horn. So my name's Royal. I'm an illustrator graphic designer from Queens, New York. I've been designing logos and helping brands get started for about 20 years or so. Still a fairly young guy, but I got started and met Adam Jeremy on Threads, and that's how we kind of linked and started this podcast. We are going to be sharing our journeys as far as how we led up to this point and how we met each other. But I'm just very gracious to be here with everyone right now, and I'm gonna pass it right over. I'm gonna mute myself and pass it right over to Adam.
What's up? My name's Adam Jeremy, and I am from Ontario, Canada. I do graphic design, and I love social media. Threads has given me a really good outlook on the trajectory of what I can accomplish, and I'm just really excited for it all together.
My name's Paul Pilio, whatever you want to call me. I prefer Paul though, because everybody knows me on a personal level now. Me, I'm just a professional hustler, get into everything I can whenever I can, and that's all I really know how to do. I'm also known as the voice on Threads. You'll probably figure out why very soon. Well, actually, you're figuring it out right now. So that's all that's really there is to hear about me. You'll probably see my content everywhere at some point in one way, shape, or form. So I'll pass it on to Royal once again, my friend.
Yes, let's
Yeah, thank you
go.
so much. We came together to really provide a platform for those of us who've all met each other basically through social media, and one app in particular, which we'll go into detail about. But today's episode, we're actually going to dive in with one of our guests. His name is Zach Hanley, and we want to give him a moment to share a little bit about what he does, who he is, and we'll talk a little bit. Maybe we'll dive in pretty briefly about how you got into your life or what your life's about. But let's get quick started with an intro with you.
Okay, so my name is Zach Handley. I'm from York, Maine originally. I've been developing now for about 12 years. I got into it because, or actually closer to 14 now, I believe. I got into it because of World of Warcraft, funny enough. I used to make interface add-ons using Lua for World of Warcraft and then sort of just branched out from there. I went to college for it, but dropped out. I'm self-taught. So I run my own web design, app creation, AI bot, whatever business for me and anybody else that wants the service, which is usually just by referrals. But things have been going pretty well. I used to sell solar and do a bunch of other stuff, but I took about 200 hours of courses and got back into it, and now here I am.
Nice, nice. And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean, hopefully on an island somewhere while my autonomous agents make me money. But, barring that, then working for a major software company.
Nice, nice. That's sweet. That's sweet.
And you got started in York, Maine, you said?
Yeah, I'm from Maine. It's about an hour north of Boston. Nobody really knows where York, Maine is. So just to clarify, if you
I
go to
know that.
Boston Airport and you drive an hour north, that's where Maine is. It's right on the cusp of New Hampshire and
Nice.
Kittery.
I definitely would
Great
know.
lobsters.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
would know
everybody
about that.
knows our lobster. You can buy Maine lobster at every expensive restaurant, but I
Yeah.
know a bunch of lobstermen in Maine that'll just give it to me. So I don't like to get it from the restaurants.
Is it better than Canadian lobster though?
Bro, what is Canadian lobster? Does anybody even buy it? Isn't it
It,
too cold up there?
you
Yeah.
use it for cheaper stuff, cheaper, dishes. You don't
Makes
use
sense. It's
Canadian
like
lobster
Florida
for anything.
lobster.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like Florida
Mm,
lobster.
I'm pretty sure
exactly.
Canadian lobster is like more expensive.
No, not
No,
even close.
maybe
Actually,
because of
not even
the
close.
yeah.
I don't know.
Not even close.
Maine lobster is the stuff you get when you go to a fancy restaurant and you're like, I want the best lobster you have.
Mm.
Hmm. I never knew
And
that.
where are you now? Are you in Maine now, or are you
I'm in Los Angeles right now.
nice? What brought you
Sorry,
over
to
to Los
specify
Angeles?
that.
That's a big, big change from Maine.
My brother is actually really, really big on social media here. He's got like 3 million combined followers, and he's friends with a
Nice.
bunch of other social media people. So I'm just out here with him and a lot of his friends. We're all just kind of enjoying our time out here. And honestly, I was in Florida before, so I just didn't really like we'll say the climate, but it's really the people. I loved the state. It's just it's a bit of an aggressive state.
I can see that. Yeah. Now, how has I mean, you mentioned that your brother's in social media, and I can already see how that's like giving you different opportunities. But when did you know that you wanted to dive into programming and like developing? What made you, or what was your first initial interest in it?
I mean, honestly, life has been pretty up and down for me in a lot of ways, but the one thing that's remained consistent has been that for some reason, technology and I have always gotten along really well. Like somebody's working with their PlayStation and it just won't work, and I just pick up the remote and all of a sudden it works. So ever since like a young age, I've always been fascinated with how things work and what makes them work and just really how electronics work. So I've always kind of been into it. It's just it took me a while to really deep dive into it.
Were you like one of those kids who used to take stuff apart around the house? Like honestly,
No,
really
thankfully,
no.
no. No, because I was too anxious that I wouldn't be able to get it back together.
Mm,
Oh, okay, okay,
that
okay.
makes
If I
sense.
could have, like, if we had like five remotes, yeah, I definitely would have.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have been one of those guys. Easily. Oh, fucking hell.
I'm glad you shared that with us. That's really important. Like, you have that connection to what you do because that's your North Star to where you're headed. And Adam asks where you see yourself in 5 years, and that's definitely something I'm constantly asking myself. But what projects are you working on right now that you're most excited about, Zach?
So I'm about to own my own social media management company. I bought essentially there's a developer that's releasing a platform where you can self-host your own social media company and white label the software. And so I've already made an autonomous Twitter agent. Pretty soon here, I'm going to be making an autonomous OnlyFans and Instagram and Facebook Messenger agent that'll essentially it creates a profile of you and then is able to live generate voice notes, text responses, everything. The only thing I'm struggling with is Twitter, thanks to Musk's API changes, but he broke the API. Honestly, it's pretty wild. But
Yeah.
but overall, that's the thing I'm most excited about because now that I've white labeled the software, I know both the languages it's written in. So I'm going to be able to start my own social media management company that hopefully can rival Hootsuite. And I don't really care how much money it makes me because it was a one-time cost. So
Mhm.
really, I'm trying to just have competitive prices for a really good product.
Well, that's
That's
nice.
awesome.
Wait, quick question. So, exactly what did Musk do to the API anyway? Because I've heard that from so many people. Like,
All right,
what
so
exactly did he
basically
do?
the long story short is there's a few different ways to authenticate with an app, right? There's the V1 API, the application programmatic interface, which basically just means okay, log in as this person and use it as their account. But then there's something called the OAuth 2 flow, which is essentially log in as this person, get an access token and usually a refresh token as well. The access token lasts a certain amount of time, and then you have to refresh it with the refresh token. The problem is right now the API for Twitter is literally just broken, where the access token for Twitter lasts 2 hours, and the refresh token, even though I'm sending in the right one, is just telling me invalid token from the API. And I've looked on the forums. There's no Twitter developers that are. I don't know if he fired them all or what, but essentially, my refresh token is saying it's invalid, which means that if I deliver this to a client, they're going to have to log in every 2 hours.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I have to try to use the V1 API. And it wasn't working for me before, but fingers crossed it'll work this time so I can just forget about this project.
Yeah, man. I hope that all works out for you.
I
Me
Yeah.
mean, worst
too.
case scenario, honestly, the main crime is that it's $100 a month to even be able to use the API.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jesus
Every
Christ. What the?
single other API provider, every single one, like there's no exception to this rule, will give you a certain amount of free requests. And on Twitter, we're talking text and images, right? So the text is maybe it's bytes or kilobytes per it's every character is a byte and there's 1,000 bytes in a kilobyte. So every tweet is basically maybe a byte, 2 bytes, 5 bytes, unless or excuse me, kilobytes,
Mhm.
unless it has an image, at which point it's maybe, let's just say 200 kilobytes, right? Maybe they full size the image, but they probably have some really good algorithms to reduce that stuff. So every tweet is at most, maybe 5/100ths of a cent for them, something like that, to host on other people's servers. And to even get the contents of your account, I have to pay $100. And even then, it's broken.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
with all those issues,
That's
it makes it tough.
insane. What the hell? Thank you for
Yeah, it
explaining that
makes
because
it
I never
tough
understood
on.
how I never understood how any of that crap
There's
worked.
literally, yeah, there's literally a Twitter developer forum post where it's essentially somebody saying, "Hey, my refresh token is invalid. Why is this?" And it's on the Twitter developer forums. So somebody should respond to it from Twitter, but it's been like 5 months and nobody's responded, and people are still reporting the same issue. So I have to just assume that it's Twitter's API because I know I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one who's complained about it. I've seen many posts about the API being broken. Like one guy that I know on Twitter who does giveaways, he made his own retweet picker and things like that, and I've been a huge user of it, and he currently can't use it whatsoever because it only pulls like 3,500 people, and he usually gets around like maybe like 8,000 to 10,000 retweets per giveaway post, so like he can't even use it. It's completely useless now.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's wild too is even with OAuth 2 access, my application as a whole can only pull 1,500 tweets per 15 minutes.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if I have 1,000 users using it, right? There's a 15-minute timeout per user because I pull about 500 tweets as my goal. And it doesn't always reach that much, but that's my goal to pull to get basically a synopsis of a summary of a person. You know, like how does this person tweet? What hashtags do they use? What kind of like language do they use? What's their personality like? What do they find funny, sad, whatever? All that information is pulled from the tweets. So at most, I can authenticate 3 users per 15 minutes. So if it were to go to a more widespread use, I'd have to probably have multiple Twitter applications, and you can only have 2 for $100 a month.
That's wild.
Wow.
Wow, that's insane.
That is insane.
Dude,
That's
yeah,
fucking
for Facebook,
crazy.
just for reference, for Facebook, you get, I believe, 5,000 free requests per month. And
Yeah,
even then,
what?
when you pay, it's on a sliding scale. That's how APIs are supposed to be. Because if you think about it, the only thing that I'm pulling from Twitter, the only thing of value, right, is the tweets. And the tweets, or like who somebody's following, or whatever you want to pull. But the point being, the only thing of value is the data on Twitter, and that data is, we're talking like kilobytes or like thousands of kilobytes at most. Like the server cost is thousandths of a cent for them,
Right.
and they're charging $100 for a limited access.
Yeah, that's absurd.
When before it used to just be basically free. You could pull 10, 20, 30 tweets at a time. That's why it got so popular, because every website was embedding their Twitter, and now nobody can do that anymore. The only thing you can do for free is create and delete tweets, which doesn't even make sense because you would need to get the tweet ID from their database to delete a tweet. So you'd need to pay for it. And to create a tweet, like you could create one and then delete that same tweet, but that's it. You can't pull anything. You can't do anything else.
Right.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
And
That's wild.
with all of that, I mean, I can see how many different obstacles you gotta get through to just develop an app, But where can we find out more about what you're up to, like your socials, what's your
Yeah,
handles,
can
and
we
where can we
check you
find
out?
you?
So everything for me is on my website. It's just zachhandley.com. It's ZACHHANDLEY. It's just like Zach and then like a handle with a Y at .com. That's my full. It's got my contact card. It's got everything on it.
Dope.
I run my website business is Creative Digital, CRTV.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's really dope.
Yeah, we want to thank you for your time today. Definitely sharing part of your journey with us and telling us a little bit about what you're up to. We definitely want to have you back on the podcast to talk more in detail about your projects and different interests. And I know there's more to it than just what you do for a living. It's also the things that fuel that outside of it. So we definitely want to dive in deeper with what drives you, what makes you tick. So
Yeah, I
thanks
mean
for being here.
it's kind of funny as a self-taught programmer, you pretty much just program the whole time. So people always ask me my interests, but I mean most of my time I spend I'm either working on a project for a client or working on a project for myself. So, my interests are pretty limited right now overall.
Right.
Oh, sorry about
I know what
that.
that's like. I can definitely relate to that for sure.
Yeah, me too, man.
But we know you got a lot to take care of tonight, so thanks for
bro.
being here with us, Zach.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. We appreciate you.
No worries,
You
guys.
take
Thanks for having
care.
me.
Yeah, no worries. You
All
take
right.
care.
What a finely chiseled man.
And
He's
now,
got a nice jawline.
yeah, Zach's cool. Zach's cool. So you want to get right into Noel or Mila?
Yeah,
Mm.
we can do no.
she,
I'm gonna
she
save
just
the
wants
best
to
for
avoid.
last, right there.
All right. We'll save the best for
Hey,
last. So, yo,
saving the
Noel,
best for last. Let's go.
Now
let's
we
do a
got our
quick
next guest.
let's do a quick intro on Noel. I know everyone's pretty well heard from Noel, but let's do a quick intro from Noel, and so everyone can hear all about you.
For sure. Hey, so I'm Noel Serrato. Pulling up my intro real quick just so it can flow better. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I was born over here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a software engineer at heart, marketer at night, I would say. So my tech journey, kind of similar to Zach's, really began when I was around like probably at least 8 to 10 years old. I used to like take apart my PlayStation Portable, and I used to modify it, do some. I think they used to call it like a Pandora mod, where you like swap out the battery, and it had some special firmware that would like be able to hack your PSP. And I would like go to different Game Stops and have like this hacked PSP that can like copy different games from GameStop, because GameStop let you do a little demo. And so they would give you like the UMD, which is like a little disc that you put in your PlayStation Portable, and I would like copy the whole entire game into my PSP, acting like I was playing the demo. And then yeah, it was really fun. But anyways, fast forward, I started getting more serious into like modding Xboxes and doing like these things called JTags, and really understanding how the systems work that let it hack the Xboxes. I found out about programming. Started going to college at a pretty young age when I was in sixth grade. I got really lucky, this opportunity that kind of fell upon me, and accepted it, and got to go to college from around my summer of sixth grade all the way up until my senior year of high school. And from there, I was just taking different courses on tech, and HTML websites, how to build websites. And I also mixed it in with a lot of self-taught. So I learned Python as my first real language when I was around 12. And ever since then, I've just been programming and having fun with it. Um, and now I work with a larger corporation, and I also run multiple startups. So I ran a video game company for the first time a couple years ago, and I just handed the throne over to a new CEO. But it was basically a multiplayer version of Metabird, or sorry, a Flappy Bird. If you guys ever played Flappy Bird, it's like a really simple game. You just tap the screen, and you try to dodge these pipes that come by, and it keeps a counter of how many pipes you pass. It was like super popular in 2012. I don't know how many people know of it now, but we made a multiplayer version of it 2 years ago, and we even got like people like Kevin O'Leary to endorse it. We had to pay him, but we did get like people like Jason Derulo commenting on our post on Instagram, and we had some other notable NFL players and other celebrities kind of get involved, but it's a story for another day. And so had a lot of fun with that. That was my first six figure business that I've made. Before that, I was usually just within the six-figure range, but that was kind of like the first one that really took off. So I was really excited about that. Now I'm running a SaaS business, software as a service, with AI, and we got our first corporate client, and now we're knocking down some more clients as of this year that we just started like not too long ago, a few months ago. So very excited about that. But yeah, that's about me. Just a nerdy tech guy. And that's about all.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story. Honestly, you went from hacking things to not hacking things.
Yeah, legally.
So, like, what's the as far as like developing and scripting, like what is the driving force behind it? Is it security? Is it a sense of control? Is it like figuring out how things work? Is it helping others? What drove you to it through your experiences?
Honestly, it was kind of just like I was a big gamer. Like I used to play Halo and all these other games, and when I had like the PlayStation Portable, I was always big on games. Like ever since I was like three years old when I first started playing Halo. And Halo's a first-person shooter game, by the way. And so like, I think the thing that really drove me was just like curiosity on how everything worked. Because when I was a kid, I didn't really like to take things as is. I was really curious on well, how does that TV display the, the LED? Like, what is it using to display all the imagery that we see? Or how is this game even working? How is this controller communicating with the console? How is that communicating with the TV? I was just really, really curious about the inner workings of what's behind the curtain. And so I'd always usually try to figure that out, like open up Pandora's box and just kind of like dive in. And so I think that curiosity eventually ended up leading to code, where I found out where code is kind of like I would call it the source of truth for everything, even in like our DNA. We have coding in our DNA. We have coding. Coding is in everything. It's kind of like the fingerprint of God, I like to say. And so I think that's kind of where it ended up, was programming is kind of like the single source of truth for a lot of things in life. Like, so that's kind of what led me to it, was just curiosity.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah, that is.
Honestly, what's the biggest challenge when you're coding anything? Doesn't matter what it is. What would you say is the biggest challenge?
When I lose access to Google. No, I'm kidding. No, probably like, honestly, honestly, that is probably a big challenge too. If you don't have access to the internet, it kind of gets hard. But because you usually use like online sources to help you figure things out. But no, but one of the hardest things, challenges I find in programming is, I would say, like fatigue, like burnout. So I wish I can like just code forever and not get burnt out. One of the things I deal with is I would code. I would work really long, like 80-hour plus weeks, just 40 hours a week doing my normal job, another 40 throughout the week doing my startups. And one of the things I wish I had more of was like, I would call it, um, I guess I would say endurance, because I can't code for more than like 2 or 3 hours straight without getting burnt out and having to need like a 30-minute nap or an hour break or go touch some grass outside. So probably just burnout.
That makes sense. I mean, that's kind of the life of any content creator, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
What,
Yeah, it's important.
what
Yeah,
kind
what are you
of
gonna say?
what kind of goals and aspirations do you have going forward?
Dude, honestly, it's like, I think one of the biggest things I had like I guess I had more of a like an epiphany of not in the past few years. So I started dating my fiance back in 2020, and I think I got closer to, I would say I got closer to God. I was already a Christian before I met her, like a few years back. I got converted from Catholic to Christian, and so I won't get too deep into it. But basically, I got closer to my faith with God, and I would say that kind of changed me a lot on my direction in life. I used to be like, when I was growing up as a kid, I would always be like, I want to aspire to be like Elon or Zuckerberg. I'd always watch the movie The Social Network for like motivation at night while I'm coding, and I would just have it on in the background. So I'm like super obsessed, dude, with like success, since I was pretty young, and I was just really on that whole train until I started getting closer to God and started realizing, like even after like I made my 6-figure plus business, it was like, is this really what I want? It was like making money and, just having nice cars and, having like people hit you up, like, and going to all these social networking events. But I would say like one of the things that hit me was when I started making more money. I got the nice job, got the nice car, had the nice startup, got the celebrity endorsements, whatever it was, got into that kind of like the whole life. I was like, it didn't really feel fulfilling. And then I realized why. At that point, it was like, for me, it was like I wasn't close enough in my faith to what I really valued in life, which ended up being like God, family, and like the people I love. And so when I started realizing that, it kind of changed my direction. Whereas like I'm not doing all this just to become like a billionaire status, like tech guru, like Elon or Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. It's more of, how can I impact more people with the things that I do while doing the things that I love and still being there with my family. And so like that's my new goal, is trying to balance all that. And so one of the things I'm doing now is, how can I make as much money as I can to at least get myself to like passive income, have enough passive income to like support all my family, pay off things that they need to be paid, pay off all my stuff. If I need to just live like freely, financially free, but also, how can I make a bigger impact on the world to make people more happy? And so like that's how I think when Threads came out, um, is when I started being able to like use my personal brand to help push more positive vibes, I would say, to the world, and also doing the things I love with like coding. with my new startup that I started recently. How can I make more money while also impacting the world in a positive way? And so that's kind of like my new goal that I'm trying to achieve in life, which is that balance of a net positive impact on the world while also making enough money to be financially free
Yeah,
for not just me but for my families, all
dope.
my family.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's really inspirational.
That's very much a common thread of people that when I think of what brought so many of us together through social media, it's that common goal of, being self-sufficient and helping others while still being able to provide for self. And, what I'm learning is the more that I give, the more that comes back. And it's not giving with the intent of receiving, it's just giving with the intent of helping someone else, making them smile, making them, giving someone a greater day in general. It comes back in so many different ways. So that's a really great goal to have because it pays dividends forward, and right back to you as well.
Exactly.
That's such an underrated comment right there.
Yo,
Dude, if like more people just gave without the expectation of getting back, that would change so much of the world. Because a lot of people do give a lot and then they expect a lot, but when they don't receive it, that's when they become envious. And envy is one of those sins, that you don't wanna maintain yourself too much because it can convolute your train of thought, and it leads to a downward spiral. And so like loving your neighbor and giving without expecting much in return is I think something like something that I think a lot of us should practice more.
I agree.
And it's tough. It's not easy. So because like usually whenever you give, you're like expecting something back. That's just how a lot of us grow up. I mean, I still feel like that sometimes. Even though I try to practice not being, it's like it's hard. But over time, you develop it as a habit of just giving instead of just taking, or instead of just giving and expecting something back.
100%. I agree with everything you just said. If you had one more thing to say to people listening, what would you, or advice? What kind of advice would you have for anyone listening?
If you're not using ChatGPT, go use ChatGPT right now. I know it's probably it's going to be a household name soon, or at least large language models will. But I would say if you're not using AI in any form in your life right now, you should definitely start using it at least as an assistant to you to help you like 2x or 10x your productivity, because pretty soon your jobs are going to get replaced with not AI but people that utilize AI. And I would definitely say if you're not on the train of using AI as an assistant or some form of productivity tool, you're going to be behind. I have my brother who's already doing courses for these different corporations in real estate. He's doing courses teaching people how to implement it. And so if you think that you're doing fine without AI, that might be true for the next half year to year from now. I know it's 2023, August 2023 today, but in a year or two from now, you're going to see a lot of your competition start using it as a weapon against you. And if you're not prepared, or you don't have it weaponized as well, or utilized, I'd say it's probably a better word, then you're going to fall behind really quick.
Great advice.
No, I can see that being something that is paramount for success moving forward. So definitely really good advice. Where could we find you on socials, Noel?
Honestly, you guys can look me up on LinkedIn, Noel Serrato, probably the easiest way. Or you can go to my link tree. I think it's just Linktree/Noel Serrato. So if you guys want to look that up, you guys can. But yeah, if you just search Noel Serrato on Google, it should be up there on LinkedIn. It's one of the first few results.
It's got your links to all the other socials and websites and things. Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope. Everyone should go check them out.
Appreciate your time for today, sharing your journey with us, and we want to dive in a little bit more and talk about your journey in your personal life as well. So thank you for being with us this evening, Noel.
Appreciate it. And don't forget to follow Social Circle Podcast. And if I butchered that, let me know. It's first episode.
Nah, that was on point. Thank you.
That
We
was,
always
yeah.
love plugs.
Yeah, that was lit.
All right, so we're gonna
The
move
best
on
for
to our
last.
next and final guest.
Mila
Yes,
Damian. How are
yes.
you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
We are great, or I am great. I can't speak for them, but I am doing fantastic.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, so I'm currently in Boston. I have a bachelor's in computer science, finishing up a BBA. I have worked in cybersecurity in the military, and before anyone gets any idea, I was the engineer battalion. Yeah, so I work with multiple smart startups, but I'm currently working as a CTO of a company that I started, and we're building a virtual assistant. And I also run a nonprofit community for women in tech and cybersecurity, and I have created a platform that is going to be the central hub for the community. And I think I resonate with Zach and Noel's story as well. I started coding at 11, started taking computers apart, just playing around with the inspect function and writing my first line of code a few months later. And I remember we used to have blogging back in the day, and I would sell the themes and started making a lot of money off of that. And I think once I realized that I could make money online, the sky was the limit. And I made a few simple games and apps. And yeah, I consider coding my superpower.
That's awesome. What was the first game you ever remember coding?
Okay. So back in the day, before I expose my age, we had Flappy Bird coming up, and I remember he got too popular. I think he made $1 billion, and he removed the game, and everyone was by then very addicted to the game. So I decided to just replicate it, but I made the bird Kylie Jenner, and that didn't go as planned. But I got 200,000 downloads, a little bit more than that, and it was taken down. I got a cease and desist, but everything was good because I was just 17, and I thought I was too young to go to jail, and yeah.
That's an
So
interesting
you made a
story.
Kylie Jenner Flappy Bird game.
Did
Yes.
Allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, you have to say allegedly before.
So allegedly she got 200,000 downloads, and allegedly she could have went to jail. Is what we're hearing here, right? That's what we're hearing.
Mhm.
Allegedly, though. Allegedly.
Mhm. That's important. Yeah.
What was one of your most exciting experiences from your journey with the tech world?
Yeah. I have worked I work with Zach. Currently we're doing so many projects together, and we keep coming up with different things that we want to make. And I guess I make a lot of scripts, and just knowing that you can make absolutely anything with codes just excites me, because it was the first time in my life where I thought this is the thing where, as long as I educate myself and I get really, really, really good at this one thing, I can make as much money as I want. I can get into whatever school that I want. I just have to be good at this. So I think, yeah, I did a lot of things. And as soon as I excelled at something, or I feel like I excelled at something, I would move on to something else. But the fact that we could do that was super exciting to me. And I guess working as a consultant now, I don't do much coding, but I do a lot of projects for fun, because I genuinely love just the coding part of it. And I guess as a computer scientist, you don't get to code as much anymore.
That's awesome.
I have a question. I know
Sure.
that the conversation about women in tech is always maybe being thrown in any woman in tech's direction. So this is not a trailblazing question. This is not what do you see about the future in women in tech, but what space do you want to create for yourself? Does it involve others? And I know you have an organization that supports women, young women in tech, but what space do you hope to create with your journey, and how it affects others with your business?
Yeah, so it is hard to be a woman in tech. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is very hard to get funding. The companies, we have very little VC funding, but I think for me, just creating a space where women can feel like they have somewhere to go, and other women also passionate about coding and cybersecurity and hacking and all that fun stuff. I think that's what I want to, that's what I'm using my Threads account for. And I also noticed that when I do talk about tech, it does become a little bit controversial. And I do get questioned a lot about my experience, and people want to see my work and projects. And I try to not take it personal. And I think that is why my role on Threads is so important, because I want to make this a space where everyone can feel like they can be themselves, and I can be as technical, nerdy as I want, but I can also make jokes and talk about makeup and just genuine, like stuff that women are also, still passionate about.
Like locking me in a trunk.
Yes. Just jokes, yeah.
Have you ever lost out on an opportunity in your industry because you're a woman? You specifically?
Definitely, many times. And I try to, I mean, it's not really personal, but I like to take charge. I have 15 years of experience doing this, and I feel very good at my craft. And I would say, like I've spent over 10,000 hours, which makes you, I think, an industry expert according to many books. So, yeah. So then wanting to do things a certain way and having to sort of sit down and watch people make the mistakes that they make, and yeah. But for me, it's not so much. I'm also very good at not letting it get to me, and it's not about ego for me. I'd rather a project going successfully and me being CTO of my own company, and having that be successful, serving people, than me being CEO and eventually having problems getting funding because of my gender.
That's definitely smart.
That's very smart, actually. Goddamn. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed a woman to say that. I mean, no offense to any women, but it's like, but I get it. Like these days, it's like they want to prove themselves. They want to show that they're capable of what any other guy can do, which is very true. And they want to be the leaders, CEOs, the owners, all that other shit, But Mila's like, I just want to see the project do well. And I think that's what it's really about, in all honesty, especially when you're passionate about something, you just want to see it do well.
Exactly. When you're making something that you genuinely believe is going to serve a lot of people, it's not about the money, and it is really not about the roles and titles. And I guess I had to learn that the hard way and realize that, you know what, like the most important thing for me is this project and what it can do for people. And if I have to sit down and watch that be done by someone that I can collaborate with, I'd rather do that. Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that. I worked with like a very famous jeweler, and a lot of projects that can be traced back to several $100,000s don't have my name attached to it, but the project wasn't, I was an integral part of it being created. So sacrifice for the sake of experience. I will also attest to that the opportunities will come and your patience will be rewarded, definitely. Anyone that's as smart as yourself and can be a support, you're learning as you go as well, and you're going to learn so many different roles that CEO role is going to be like nothing. You'll have to support that. I see no doubt that you'll have that support there too.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know there's a lot of amazing ideas that was built by completely different people than the CEOs. And I think, if someone has the credibility and experience to lead, then they should do that. At the end of the day, we're all, as a programmers, we're just creators, and we just want to make a lot of things. I mean, that is why we love open source, and putting everything out on GitHub and making sure that everyone can replicate and just use it and copy it and do whatever they want with it. We just want the stuff to be available for everyone.
I noticed that was very unique about you as opposed to so many others, that that there's so much focus on return on investment and how to monetize all of that. And you are such a like almost philanthropic with your talent. Like, you're willing to put it on GitHub and say it's open for everyone to use. What made you that type of developer?
I think me and Zach had a very interesting conversation about that. But yeah, having everything under just the MIT license, and having everything open source, as a programmer, we love that. And sometimes, you take something and you have to give something back. And I have used so many scripts and collaborated with so many people, and just having all of that online, I think is, yeah, really good. And if people want to make a business out of it, and that's why we have so many AI wrappers, and we have so many API wrappers, and AI companies, and so many businesses built on the OpenAI API, because fundamentally we just want to make a lot of things that can help people. Eventually, you have to, I guess, listen to shareholders and try to make some money off of it. But yeah, I think most CEOs would rather are not investors, but you have to sort of be responsible to a board, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, you were working on, well, actually, I won't get into that part. What project are you most excited about that you're working on right now?
Okay, I am working on a project that I absolutely love, and I've been working on it for so many years, and it's a virtual assistant. And I know a lot of people are also working on something similar, but I just think competition is good. As someone who loves economics, competition just makes us develop and makes us better. So I wish I could say more. I just have a lot of competitors that is working on that, but definitely
I
the virtual
understand.
assistant.
Virtual assistant, that's dope. That's really cool. It's going to help plenty of people, right? Where can we find out? Well, I love your social media posts because on Threads, because they're so informative, and I think you are like a must follow. So where can we find out more about what you're up to and the information that you share with everyone on Threads and other social media?
Yeah, so aside from being a founder, I work for big tech. So a lot of the projects that I work on, I can't really share. But I guess you can find me on social media, on Instagram, and just online in general. I am trying to do Mastodon, so I guess I will focus on being a bit more technical, keep Threads a little bit more light. I noticed that a lot of people are telling me that that I can't use so many technical terms. So I'm trying to explain very complex things
What
to
did you
the
say
majority.
was Macedon?
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah, so Mastodon is a microblogging on the Fediverse. And I think it's very huge in Europe. And it's more hashtag based.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I
on
just
Fediverse.
for people that didn't know what it meant, I just wanted to clear the air because I personally didn't even know what it meant.
yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to use it now, but
Perfect. That's awesome.
So we want to make sure we thank you for your time today. I think we're gonna take this into the group discussion. So everyone that's been a guest, we can open it up to the entire group. But Mila, we want to thank you for sharing with us and talking about your journey. And we
Yes.
definitely want to have you come back and talk more in depth about
We
what
definitely
you're
want to
into
do.
without revealing any industry secrets or anything that's going to trip up your big project.
Yeah, we
Nah,
definitely.
let her spill the beans.
We,
Let her spill the beans.
we definitely
No,
want to get
no.
into a one-on-one or you know, a
yes,
discussion.
I think that would be really fun. I think I could talk about everything from a
You can
um,
probably teach us a lot of things about tech we don't even know.
yeah, exactly. And I noticed that a lot of the words that I was using was being used by other creators, and I think that people are starting to or searches up the terms that we use, and that's sort of what I wanted. And if I could, I think on the one-on-one we can go more in depth on how to leverage tech and make your threads, optimize your threads.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
I think I could use some tips on that for sure.
Yeah, I think we definitely all could use some tips.
I mean, I don't need any tips, but I mean, you guys might. It's okay.
I'm always
I'll let
open.
you guys take
I'm
the
a
tips. Okay.
sponge, baby.
Dude, I love how humble Pilio is. It's like
I mean,
he's a role model.
I mean, when you call me the voice, I mean, do you really expect me to be humble here?
That's funny.
Seriously.
Isn't that trademarked? Isn't that
It-
trademarked, Pilio?
we're actually in the process.
So Noel,
But I got to get creative with it.
Did you want to go into talk about what we wanted to do as a community and what we seen as a vision for us?
Oh yeah, 100%. Let's go. I wish I had Pilio's voice so I can explain this. So,
You could have written a script. I would have read it word for word.
dude, and then I just play it on my end so it sounds like I'm saying it, and then I'll.
Yep.
And then after I'll get Mila to talk about her, also what she's working on, and then we'll go from there.
For sure. So yeah, so we started this community around the week that Threads came out. I mean, it started as a Discord. Adam had his own group, so Adam had his own group on Instagram. It was basically a big giant conglomerate group chat of a bunch of different people from Threads, and another guy named Bruno, who's not here right now, but he also created his own group chat on Instagram with and he acquired quite a few people in there as well. And so I think one thing led to another. We all came together and we came up with this joint vision, which I'll get into right now, to really join everybody into a giant Discord. Which, if you guys don't know what Discord is basically a giant group chat that you can organize into different channels, and you can have voice chats like the one we're having right now on there. And there's different communities that are on Discord, and you can join any community that you like that fits your interest. And so we created a Threads community Discord, and this group is really for people that want to grow on a personal level, want to grow in a professional level, and also most importantly, it's Threads focused. So Threads is the new social app, obviously, and if you want to grow on Threads, we're really here to support you grow on there. And so we're all about peace, love, positivity. It's kind of cliche, but that's really what we're here for. We want to see everybody thrive in their own their own paths, and we're here to support that. It's about as simple as I can get it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you're looking to grow on any one of those levels, this is the community for you. It's not just for people that thread, but we're starting off with Threads.
Yeah, you hit it right there, and we just want everyone to win, and that's the whole goal of it all.
That's why we're better than X.
Oh,
That's literally why we're better than X.
Damn.
there we go, Pilio. Still hung up on your ex? I see you, Pilio.
X is terrible. X is horrible. Went on it for the first time yesterday. Fucking god awful. It just looks bad.
Damn.
It just looks bad.
That's why it smelled
Horrible.
That's why it smelled a little dirty in here, huh?
Horrible UI. No, I think that was Noel. Horrible UI. Horrible. Just everything's so bad.
Sheesh.
I mean, Zach pretty much explained why it was crap anyway. So.
Oh dang. Okay, I was gonna give you this offer that Must just DM me. He wanted to involve you, Pilio, but I'll tell him to cancel that.
You can cancel. It's fine. I don't want to go to the city anyway. It's
It
terrible.
wants nothing to do with spaces.
Oh god, I don't want to be on a space.
Listen. He just wants you to be the voice of space. All right, that's it.
Dude, yeah, you're
Well,
gonna be the voice on my Tesla, Pilio, but you know what? I
Yo,
don't think that's happening anymore.
You
I'm-
should send him a voice note like get the out of the way. That should be
every
his
time
voice.
he
Yeah,
every
that's my
time he
heart.
beeps his horn, it's just like, please get the fuck out of the way.
No, that's too long. Just get the please and the out of that sentence and
Please
Yeah.
fuck off. There we go. Every time you beep your horn, just please fuck off.
Who
Facts.
who do y'all have on that bout between Musk and Zuck?
Oh, dude, Zuck,
Zuck,
100%.
100.
dude. I thought they
Yeah.
just canceled it. Didn't Zuck just like roast? I think he
We
got
just-
his first win against Elon. He like
we just
roasted the
had-
crap out of Elon.
Yeah, he did. We just
He did.
fantasy booking.
That's funny.
Fantasy.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was
yo.
like, Musk isn't serious, so let's call it off.
The thing I love most about Zuck is his passion for fighting, and because he wants to showcase a good event and use their platform to like, uplift that event for the fighters is huge. Whereas like Elon, he just wants to like benefit from money, and his platform.
True.
I
So,
also
like-
think he wasn't. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I also think that it wasn't supposed to be a physical fight. I'm not sure. I think it was supposed to be just something online, and I guess we hyped them up and we got carried away, and suddenly we're forcing two billionaires to fight. But I actually forgot that that he's fighting for us for threats. So I'm very happy about that. I do feel like a divorced kid though, having to choose between
Choosing
Damn.
between the
That's
parents.
so true.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on. Elon's not really our parent. He kind of inherited us. He kind of like bought us.
Oh,
And he's
that's
not really
true.
our parent.
That is
He's
true.
not. He's not our
the
parent.
dad.
Okay, he
Like,
tried to
not the-
buy us.
He's
tried
like
to buy
killed our
us.
parent. He's like
Yeah,
killed our
exactly.
The
parent. and
dad, he's
replaced
just the dad who stepped up. He's the
Yeah,
stepdad.
he's the.
Oh,
I mean, he
dang.
tried to step up, but then he
Yeah.
just like shot us down with all this
Yeah.
crap.
He did definitely.
He used us for tax purposes.
So
No,
Mila-
literally, he used
Mila-
us for a write-off.
Mila, I also wanted to talk about the other thing you were working on with Zach just a little bit, and just if you want to give them like an update on what could happen in the future from you guys.
Yeah, so we were working on building an official app with the official API. I think I spoke to some. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but we might be able to get early access to the API, which means that our community will be able to get the app firsthand. So I guess I want it to be free and open for everyone, and I guess just trying to make sure that the app is running. But that's sort of what I was working on. So it is going to be a threads management app where you can schedule your posts, and I guess making sure like we have different features in mind, and yeah, that's sort of what we're working on. I think there's a lot of different API wrappers now that created a lot of problems, and
We won't say their names. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I love the idea. I've loved it since you guys brought it up, and I think it'll be great for everyone, and not even just the community, but everyone in general just using threads.
I noticed that a lot of people were a little bit against it because I think they were working on the same idea. So it would be a bit of an issue, but ours is going to be not for profit. My only objective is trying to basically get the functions of being able to see who follows you so you can unfollow the people that don't follow you, just because of the limitations we have, and being able to see everyone on the list that you constantly interact with, because threads do work in circles. So you want to be able to you want to be able to support the people that constantly replies and supports you back. And yeah, nothing fake engagement, nothing no algorithms around inside, like around the threats to fake engagement. Those things tend to be very tricky and unofficial. So we're waiting for the official API to start building. The only thing would be that I found out that we're not getting an official API until it transitions to the activity protocol. So as soon as that is done, we can start developing. And I guess when we are there, the sky's the limits.
And do you know when that is, or is it just randomly?
Yeah, so I can start making. I've made a lot of scripts, and we have the backend and the UI done. So as soon as we have the API, it would take a few hours for even just me and Zach to code something up and release it.
Oh, so you're gonna let me?
Yeah.
You're gonna let me be one of the first testers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be some
Oh,
date capped and just serving like a small amount of people. Is going to be open for everyone and fair for everyone.
awesome.
And yeah.
okay.
So,
Well,
so
just
you're gonna
just
expose Paleo first. He's gonna find out he has like half bot followers and half bot engagement. I'm really excited for that.
sir, don't I have more followers than you though? Right?
Exactly.
If I'm not mistaken, Noel, I'm kind of beating you right now in terms of followers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can
I
go
think
buy 500
everyone
bots
is.
to go catch up.
First of all, I don't buy bots. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The only bot behavior right now is from you.
Bot behavior, I love it.
Literally bot behavior.
No, this
That's
is my
all
new
it is.
AI. This is my new AI voice synthesizer. So you're not wrong. Actually,
Exactly.
real life me is coding.
No, real life you is still on your little mini vacation. You didn't want to come home.
Sorry, I didn't recognize that keyword. Can you repeat?
The real life you is still on your mini vacation. That's all it is.
Repeat.
I fucking hate you so much. I hate him so
Jeez.
much. I don't even like him.
That's funny.
I'm only here
because he loves me. That's
I'm
why.
only in this Discord because of Mon. If I even
Yo.
knew about Noel before I met Mon, I would have been like, no, not going in there.
Can I ask a quick question right now? Where's Bruno?
So Bruno currently, he said he was coming, and then as usual, he flaked. You know, that's just it.
I kind
That's
of.
He's
it.
live from Cabo. He's in Cabo.
He's in
It's
Cabo.
Wait,
understandable.
why
He's
the?
married.
Damn.
Wait a
What's
minute.
that song?
Wait,
Cabo
wait.
by what's that guy that sings that song?
I don't know.
It's irrelevant.
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Is he
Wait,
Canadian?
why does he say he's gonna be on a podcast and then go to Cabo? Who does that?
It's gonna be Bruno all weekend. That's who's gonna be singing that song.
Jesus Christ. That's like when he
So
tells us to all
we
get.
don't talk about him, bro.
It's like when he tells us to get into voice chat and then he's like, "Okay, guys, I'm going to bed."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
wait a minute, I just got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time he comes in the chat, we need to play that song. Not the
We don't
Cabo
talk
song.
about Bruno.
Yeah. Just like someone have it on hand.
Please.
Yo,
That's
we gotta get
funny.
the.
Yeah,
the soundboard.
we should get some Bruno soundboards in there.
That's what I was just.
Can you put them in your mic? Is that what you can do?
We could record him next time he's in chat, and then come.
What did he say the other day? It would have been prime. The baddies one? That would have been hilarious.
Oh crap, I wasn't here that day. Damn it.
It's funny.
All right, we're gonna go around the chat. Everyone tell us something they're grateful for, like soundboard, just like that. Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'm grateful for people who actually like show up to the voice chat.
Get him in sound chat
grateful.
and then play his voice back to him, and then he'll be like, "What the what?"
Yeah. We gotta do that. Or
Also do that.
actually, Mila, you gotta synthesize his voice, capture like voice
Yeah.
snippets from him, and
Yeah.
synthesize.
That's why I don't sing around you guys. You're gonna
No.
make songs.
Oh,
and
speaking of
and just
singing.
Speaking of singing, now that you brought
Speaking
it back
of singing,
We're gonna sell her
exactly.
voice.
I think we should give the viewers
What they want.
taste of your voice.
Oh my God.
no,
Are you talking about
Unless-
who are you talking to? Pilio or
No, we're talking to Mila
Mila.
because she still hasn't done the singing for us.
Owes us.
That was like 6
owes
voice
us.
chats ago. That was 6 voice chats
Okay.
ago.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if you boosted our server and if the voice actually turns out nice. But I've always been told that my voice is very soothing. And now when he came around and he's the voice, it just makes me very.
You're not the voice
God,
anymore. Is that what you're saying?
you're
I
just
don't
she's
only
just
do
trying
that
she's
anymore.
just trying to deflect. She's trying
No,
to deflect.
Mila, you're the harmony.
Yeah,
You're the harmony.
You're the harmony.
Yeah, you're like the backbone of the song.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
the back.
I can't
There's no
believe
such.
she's still. I can't believe she's still. First of all, there is such a thing. Be quiet, okay? You're talking to somebody who's been playing music. You're talking to somebody who's been playing music since he was 7 years old. Okay, there is such a thing.
Your triangle
So-
does not count, Pilio. Just
I have 4 guitars in my room right now.
all right. Guitar
Y'all-
Hero doesn't count either.
Y'all
Though.
need to get a room.
Oh my god, dude! I swear, I'm gonna find your Tesla and slash 3 of your tires so insurance won't replace
That
them.
escalated.
just so insurance won't replace them.
Actually, you got
Sam,
Sentry mode on. It'll record you.
I don't care.
So, just to change the topic up a little bit,
Yeah,
I noticed that a lot of the bigger creators were leaving the platform,
Yeah.
which means there's a huge opportunity for us to create
Our own space.
content, and we have so many people to entertain.
Very true. You can entertain them by singing. So, you know, if you're
No.
thinking
We're
about
not- yeah. We'll talk about threads things, but no, I agree. And it also gives us an opportunity to grow more because they're not stealing from our circle. Also, another thing I'm not gonna lie, I started doing is blocking bigger influencers in our circle, and it's been helping my engagement more.
Why would you
God,
do such a
no
thing?
wonder he blocked me. I was wondering what happened.
Not you.
Why
not you.
would you block?
Yeah.
Why would you block someone who has more followers than you, Adam?
What do you mean? No, well,
That
it's-
sounds jealousy. I'm
No,
hearing.
I'm serious. No, I just want to
no.
know. Just curious.
No, I think it is because when you see that someone has notifications on for you and they immediately jump on new creators or whatever space that you're in, it does sort of feel like that. But the thing is that because it works in circles, we have a very merged audience, and to be honest, you wouldn't actually need the bigger creators that you started out with. You need to basically jump into different type of
You need to get
audience,
into new
collaborate.
circles,
Yes.
and that's what I've
So
been
the only
noticing.
yeah, exactly. So the only way that threads actually work to get your engagement up and growing is by collaboration. And this is like very well done by Zuckerberg. I think I'm gonna mention how exactly things work technically when I have a bit more time. But what ends up happening is when you reply back and forth, and I notice that a lot of creators don't actually know this, but the bigger ones do that are more familiar on other platforms know how the threads platform is set up. So what ends up happening when you reply back and forth, which is really important, is your audience get merged together and you share that audience. So for now, because they're focusing on retention, that's the way that you grow. And I think also trying to have more creators and have more content on the platform, it would be logical for them to reward that kind of support back and forth as well.
I noticed that when there's more comments under one thread or a thread within a thread, it gains a lot more activity. There's been occasions which all of us can attest to. I know we can all reflect on it where we've made a comment that's gotten more engagement than the original post. And then the comment begins to travel around, and then you start seeing new groups of people on a good morning post that then when you go to their page, they know someone that you know, and I can see that algorithm at work, but it does reward a lot of that engagement between different groups of people.
Yes, and a lot of people also have notifications on for different creators. So the second that one of your favorite creators comments on a post, all of their audience goes onto the app, and yeah, that's why the good mornings are so popular.
Good mornings are super popular.
Dude, literally, that's all Noel has done for the past like 3 days. Hasn't even provided any substance on the platform. Just good morning.
So I started doing less posts on weekends because I don't get that high of engagement. And then Monday, so tomorrow, I'm gonna get back into my regular schedule. But weekends.
Regular programming.
Yeah.
So-
My regular schedule.
Schedule program.
I just gotta say,
Yeah.
my good morning post, like just one of them, have like 10 times the amount of substance as all of Pilio's past week's posts have combined.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Noel?
Oh, what did I say? Oh.
No. I think he's talking to me for sure.
Yeah.
So my good morning posts are like 10 times the value of all of Pilio's past week's worth of content. Like, you know what they say, like, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Hey, before you
Gotta
shit
say.
on him, all right? Just go look at my good morning posts for the past 3 days before you talk.
That's juicy right there. Goddamn.
Okay? I love Pilio. Be nice.
I've been mass following off of Adam anyway.
Yo, you.
I've been seeing that. I know. You want me to lie, dude? Every time he posts "Good morning," boom! I'm already on the likes. I'm ready. I'm literally
don't
just
even
refreshing.
comment.
It doesn't matter. I'm there for the engagement. I'm there for the engagement.
He doesn't even comment either.
I'm there for the engagement. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I
How
just
do we feel
refresh
about-
it.
How do we feel about creators, like bigger creators, that doesn't reply back to their audience?
So
It's the
My-
worst.
let me talk back into why I blocked bigger creators. So I blocked bigger creators that I noticed would start following my feed. And like it's only I only know because I follow a couple people that don't even post, that are like my IRL friends, and whenever I see them following those 3 people, I know they're going through my feed, like my followers.
You're being farmed, basically.
Yeah, so I'm being farmed. So at that point, if they don't engage in my stuff, I see no value besides giving them value. So at that point, I choose to block them and move forward because I don't need them in that point in my stage.
Yeah. And I think that's why Threads is just so amazing, because what they don't understand is what they're trying to like actually do is they don't want to support back the creators, but they don't understand that Threads actually work that way, where if you don't reply back to on other people's posts, your content isn't being shown. So a lot of the creators that are very supportive and that are huge now are the ones that go in and they support all of the small creators that replies on their posts. But I noticed that some creators weren't, and I know for a fact that those guys are not going to be around the next month because it's not how it works.
Yeah, well, you have to.
I think they're going to get pushed out. They're going to get pushed out, and I think like the even though it's a term, the reply guy, or just the replier rather, whether it's a guy or a girl, I think that strategy is the lifeblood of the app in itself. You know, like replying to other people's content is what gets your content seen, but it's not done in a way like we talked about earlier, where we give without the expectation to receive in return. We're giving our time to comment on someone else's post, and people are giving it back. And one of the things I noticed from the first week of Threads that I hope that we don't lose, because we get a little further and further away from it every week, is that original thought or that original feeling. And it is closely associated with dopamine, which you need a bigger hit each and every time. But at its core, this app was really a safe haven for those who wanted to engage with each other that was not getting that engagement in other places.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. And it would make total sense for Meta, who knows social media as well, to have that kind of behavior be rewarded. Because imagine wanting to be the only creator in one field, when you could have, let's say, 10 creators because you keep supporting other people's content, and they start to make more content and excited about coming onto Threads, right? So their actual, or Threads' actual goal is having as many creators as possible out there so that people uses the app. And if you don't engage with other creators' content, your account is not going to grow. That's just how it works. And people start to know that if you're not a guy that replies back on other people's posts, people are not going to support your content back. It's just a matter of time before they figure out that you don't say good mornings back and you don't engage with their content, or you purposely see their content and you're not replying back for any reasons.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Heavily agree.
And I also think that you'll see Threads lean more Instagram-y, as in more people are just going to start liking it than commenting on it. And that's personally how I think it'll be going forward too.
Yeah, I think what happens with Threads is like it's a two-sided market, right? It's like I always compare it to like a club. You're always gonna have like a group of individuals that are gonna attract others, aka the women in a club. You're gonna have a two-sided market. You have the men and the women. And so, how do you get more people to come into your club? Well, obviously, there's some bigger pullers in a two-sided market than others. Some are entertainers, and some are there to be entertained. And in this case, let's say the club example, you have a lot of men in a club. There's not going to be a lot of women that come because the men don't attract the women. And so it's like kind of like vice versa. So what the clubs do is that they let a lot of women in for free. That way because they know that the value of the woman is that they attract a lot of guys into the club. And so the more women that you have to come into a club, the more guys it's going to attract. Therefore, the more population you're going to have inside of that club. And so with Threads, similar concept. You're going to need to attract more content creators into Threads. That way they can create more high quality content, and eventually the platform will turn into kind of what TikTok is, which is it's a highly entertaining platform. It's not really too focused on creators as much as it was in the beginning, but you can still create content if you want. But it's more focused on the entertainment value it provides, more or less, than it is the people that need to create the content. It's not catered towards that as much as it was in the beginning. So I think with Threads, we have a lot of content creators right now. Everyone's trying to be a content creator, but eventually over time, the ones that are very truly valuable, or at least relatable, and can get a lot of an engagement, those are going to be the ones that stay as the entertainers, and the rest of the people are going to be the entertained. And so that's my two cents on it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's so well put.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow, thanks, Mila.
That's great points.
Paleo?
I mean, it was okay. It wasn't like profound or anything. It's not like a Bible verse or something like that. It was okay.
Yeah, but it
I'm
actually
just
is
kidding.
it's very fascinating, because what he is saying, and what I was also trying to say is that it is going to be more focused on the content versus the content creator, and I think that's what they're trying to make.
Agreed. I fully agree.
All right. Well, our runtime is reaching 75 minutes and 38 seconds.
Sheesh. Are you serious?
That's
So-
okay.
No, that's
That's
good.
okay.
We are at a
Cutting
good
and
place right now. We are
I'm
at a
having
good place
fun.
right now.
We are.
But I do, if you are recording, if you want to pause it so we can listen back at another time, we can pause it. If we want to keep
Yes.
chatting, we can continue this conversation for sure.
We
But I do want to thank everyone that's been a part of this today, because
yeah, you know what?
we have
I'm
gone
gonna-
through that script.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it.
Yeah,
After this,
let's debrief.
and then but I'm gonna keep it going for something else if we
Oh,
stay.
okay.
If we stay in here, that's it. That's all I'm gonna.
Yeah, I gotta bounce right now, but it was
Okay,
awesome being in here.
Perfect.
Yeah. Noel, thank you.
Thank you,
for
Noel.
being here. Wes, thank
Thanks,
you for,
guys. Much love.
sharing. We
Appreciate
want
you,
to
Noel.
dive in for another episode. Any feedback you have, please let us know. Please, please. We are
Yeah, I'll
open
let
to
you
it.
guys know. And I probably can sum it up in like one sentence. So the pod was really awesome. I loved it. But you know, that guy Pilio, you guys really got to
I
watch out
fucking
for.
swear I knew he was
I'll
going
be
there.
there.
I fucking knew he was going there. God damn
That's
it.
funny. Great.
All right, love you guys.
Love you.
All
Have a
right,
good night,
Noel,
Noel.
later, man.
Love you
Good
too.
night.
Some days. Only some days with that
End of the
guy.
4.